Goldeneye was one of the most memorable games ever made, not least because of the vast range of weaponry available to the player. As well as the traditional gadgets, there was a plethora of guns to find. Some of these were quite realistic, like the KF-7 Soviet and the shotgun. Others were more deeply rooted in Bond lore, like the Moonraker laser and the Golden gun. But today we're going to be talking about that one gun that always popped up at the wrong moment and got you killed. The gun that everyone avoided in multiplayer. The gun that was almost completely useless, even when dual wielded. I am, of course, talking about the Klobb. The Klobb, like many other guns in the game, was based on a real-world gun. In this case, the Scorpion VZ61. After the decision was made to rename all the weapons, it was initially renamed the Spider. In fact, many pre- and post-release materials still refer to the Spider, including the game's manual. Eventually, the gun had to be renamed again. This time, inspiration came from a person, Ken Lobb. Ken was an employee of Nintendo of America and acted as the Nintendo side producer and contact during the creation of Goldeneye, who, for better or worse, ended up being immortalized in the game. Text files were altered, references were changed, and boom, the Klobb was born. So what was so bad about the gun anyway? The easy answer is everything. It is one of the weakest weapons in the game, which is a terrible pairing with the fact that it's also fairly loud. It doesn't feature a zoom, so aiming must be done at close range to have any hope of hitting the target. Even then, the gun is so inaccurate that it's more likely that your perfectly lined up headshot will end up being a noisy miss. Even though you can use a pair of Klobbs at the same time, they're still barely effective, particularly considering they have little to no penetration potential. With all of these flaws, the Klobb is simply one of the last weapons you want to be left with in the single player mode. This is even more true in multiplayer. For some reason, the Klobb shows up in multiple weapon profiles for multiplayer matches. I have horrible memories of being stuck with the lasers profile and being left to duke it out with friends using KF-7s and Moonraker lasers, while my Klobb spat pathetically at them. Nightmare scenarios. Given how Ken Lobb still speaks warmly about Goldeneye and Rare at every opportunity, he clearly saw the humour in the situation. Still, the game's producer and director, Martin Hollis, still feels bad about naming such a rubbish gun after the man. He told Edge in 2014, "I do slightly regret naming such a poor weapon after him, since I'm tremendously fond of the man. He is astonishingly enthusiastic about games, even after years of working in the industry. It's a little unfair that we named such a useless weapon after him, and for that, I'm sorry." Don't worry, Martin. You gave the world one of the greatest, most influential games of all time. I'm sure Ken has found it within himself to forgive you.